Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy. Sorry if my voice sounds strange at the moment. I'm currently dealing with a sore throat. It's been a very long, trying, exhausting, rough, draining, and emotional weekends, to say the least. And I'm still trying my best to cope from it. But while I'm trying to cope from the terribleness that was my last weekend, I thought we could take the time to talk about one of my favorite topics to bring up on my channel, Ghost in the Shell 2017. Yes, I know. Many of you do not want me to talk about this film any further. You feel like I already beat my points into the ground and I was just being completely unfair and biased to this film because I love the original and there's no point in going into it any further. Let's just bury it and move on from here. But I honestly feel like there's still more to be discussed about Ghost in the Shell 2017 and the ramifications it will have on the industry moving forward. Even though this is probably the most controversial and polarizing topic I've ever discussed on my channel. Whenever I would talk about Ghost in the Shell 2017, instantaneously I would get a bunch of dislikes and a bunch of comments calling me racist or biased and all that stuff. I mean, if you go back to my first video on Ghost in the Shell 2017 back in 2016 about how there's not a lot of Asian actors and actresses in the industry. I mean, even that video was controversial and polarizing. Every video I made about Ghost in the Shell. And you would think maybe I would try to stay clear from that, but I'm not one to stray off from controversy because I'm afraid of the backlash or the dislikes and stuff. That just comes with the territory. I'm used to getting dislikes, I'm used to getting hateful comments, and I'm used to getting some really good constructive criticism. Don't think that I don't read your comments, guys, and that I just bundle them all up as hate comments. No, there are actually some good, well thought out, constructive criticisms on my points against certain things. And I take the time to read them, and sometimes I'll take the time to respond to them. So don't think that I'm just bundling them all up together as hateful comments. I'm not. And this video isn't really about talking about the backlash that I get from Ghost in the Shell 2017, my thoughts on Ghost in the Shell 2017, or how I'm getting all these hateful comments and dislikes and I'm so heartbroken, why are you guys being so mean to me? It really doesn't bother me anymore. I'm used to getting that. I'm used to the controversy. What I'm here to talk about is the failure of Ghost in the Shell 2017 and how that in itself is a double-edged sword. For those who don't know yet, Ghost in the Shell 2017 underperformed at the box office last weekend. It came in around 18 to 19 million at the box office when it was projected to make about 25 to 30 million at the box office. So yeah, it fell really hard. In fact, I read an article recently that was saying that Ghost in the Shell 2017 is on the fast track to becoming the biggest box office bomb of 2017. And I know many of you are probably expecting me to be all happy about this. Like, yay, it's bombing, it's failing, I'm so happy, fuck this movie. But in all honesty, guys, I'm not happy. I'm not happy about this at all. Because the failure of Ghost in the Shell 2017 affects us all, both the industry and the audience. And I'm going to go into why it affects us both. First, let's touch upon how this film will affect the movie industry going forward. The failure of Ghost in the Shell 2017 at the box office is a clear indicator to Hollywood that audiences are growing sick and tired of their fucking bullshit. They're growing sick and tired of their constant whitewashing of minority characters. They're sick and tired of shitty movie adaptations of beloved classics, regardless if you're a fan of the anime or not. And most importantly, people are getting sick and tired of generic-ass, boring movies directed by hacks and written by terrible writers. They're sick of all three of these things. All three of those things are the major cause as to why many people didn't go see Ghost in the Shell this weekend. In fact, I know this might be anecdotal, but I had a conversation with a couple people about Ghost in the Shell, and I asked them whether or not they wanted to go see the film. And many of them said no. And I asked them why. And they said because it just looks so boring and generic. It doesn't look like it's that interesting to watch. And this is coming from people who weren't fans of the original film. Your film doesn't attract an audience. They're sick and tired of the same old shit. So they spoke with their walls this time and refused to go see it. So hopefully because of this failure, Hollywood can begin implementing some changes when it comes to approaching films like this. First off, don't whitewash the characters. If they're Asian, if they're black, if they're Hispanic, if they're Middle Eastern, try to find an actor that fits that description. You're fucking Hollywood. There's a bunch of actors out there that are just looking for their big break. In fact, one of the people I went to go see this film, in fact, the guy who forced me to see this film, Ernesto, constantly was telling me that this should have been a tentpole film for a young, upcoming Asian actor instead of giving it to Scarlett Johansson. And look how that backfired. They got Scarlett Johansson because they thought she was a big box office drive, big box office boom. It would bring people, put them into the seats. It didn't work. So maybe next time, don't cast a white actor for a minority role. Try to find somebody that's good enough to portray that role. 2, actually know what you're adapting. Take the time, do some research, watch the original film, watch the original series, and get a sense as to what is the soul, the spirit, the tone of what you're adapting, and try to copy it or try to be as faithful to it as best as you can. And thirdly, stop hiring terrible directors and terrible writers. Get some people with some actual drive and talent, not a bunch of hacks. I mean, say what you want, but Rupert Sanders is not a great director. He directed one film worth mentioning, and even that film is not really that favorably liked. Not a lot of people like it. I bet you not a lot of you even remember that film. And considering that one of the writers of the film was responsible for 3 of the 5 Transformers films, I mean, what does that tell you right there? It tells you that they didn't give a shit about this film. They didn't want to put their best foot forward. But in the process of Ghost in the Shell failing at the box office, we might see more and more studios turning away from making adaptations of popular anime series and films. I feel like movie adaptations for popular anime is going the way of video game movies. They've just become so box office poison, and studios are really hesitant to try and make those. Now, yeah, sure, they still try to make some video game movies, and they never really turn out that well. And I feel like that's going to be the same thing with like adaptations of popular anime. They're just box office poison. Nobody wants to see them. Maybe they just don't have a big enough audience to make the big bucks. And when you try to alter it to fit like the mainstream movie-going audience, you turn off all the fans of the movie or the original source material, and they don't even show up. So I feel like they're gonna be very hesitant to try and make adaptations of anime, which personally I have no problem with, but I know that there are a lot of people that would love to see some movie adaptations of their favorite anime. But because of this failure, Hollywood might be very hesitant to move forward on some projects. Like they announced that they were going to try to do an Akira live-action film with Jordan Peele attached to it. And while that does sound interesting, I just hope that they don't do it because I don't want to see them remake Akira. It was a marvel for its time, but I don't think a lot of people are going to want to see that. They want to see new shit. They want to see something different, not something they've seen before. So yeah, that's the double-edged sword that I was talking about. It does affect the industry and makes it a clear sign that audiences are getting sick and tired of this bullshit, but it also affects the audience in the fact that we might not be able to see some good adaptations of our favorite anime series and movies. And I know some of you out there would really like to see that. So that's why it just sucks that Ghost in the Shell bombed so badly. And those, ladies and gentlemen, were my thoughts on how the box office failure of Ghost in the Shell 2017 will have lasting ramifications on both parties, the movie industry and the audience. And I would love to know your thoughts on this topic as well. Did you agree with all my points? Or did you feel like I left some points out that I should have addressed? Or do you outright disagree with my points? Comment below and let me know. And stay tuned, I do got a bunch more videos coming your way. Hopefully they will not be Ghost in the Shell centric. I'm trying to move on from that topic and move on to other things to kind of brighten up my mood. But unfortunately this week I will be featured on a podcast talking about Ghost in the Shell, and also I'm doing an entire anime centric Beyond the Credits episode with my good friends Ernesto, Andy, and Chris this Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we really would like for you guys to participate. We want you guys to ask questions and give us your thoughts and opinions. I'll put a link to their page right there, and you guys can actually submit some questions right now if you guys want to give anything to the show while they're writing it. And as always, guys, if you'd like to see more videos on this channel, be a part of the Black Critic crew, please hit that subscribe button below, like this video if you really enjoyed it, and I'm 21 seconds, sick and tired both in the literal and figurative way as the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.
Yes.